Welcome back. Today, the types of accounting errors and their correction. So without wasting time, let's indulge. So we have errors. Formations are errors that occurs when a transaction is completely omitted from the books of accounts. Then we have errors of principle. So when we enter a transaction in the long class of account but still observe the double entry. Then we have errors of omission. When the correct amount is entered, but in the wrong personal account, though the account is in the same class of account. So that is the errors of commission. Then we have compensating errors. Errors that cancel out each other. Then we have errors of original entry. So this one occurs when the original figure is incorrect and yet the double entry is still observed using the figure. I hope we are together up to there. Please write some short notes, screenshot as we continue. Any question, please write down on the comment below. Then we have errors of original entry. This one occurs when the original figure is incorrect and yet double entry is still observed using the incorrect figure. Then we have complete reversal of entries. So errors when the correct end in the correct account but in the wrong side of the account. Then we have transposition errors. It's a special type of an error of original entry which occurs when the wrong sequence of individual characters in a figure is entered. This can be 525 to be written as 552. So that is a transposition errors. So that is all about the errors in accounting errors and their correction. So let's look about the suspense account. So to this account, it is assigned the balance equal to the difference between the credit and debit side of the trial balance to ensure that the trial balance. Basically, all the errors affecting the balance of the trial balance necessitate the creation of the suspense accounts. So if you have any error in the trial balance, you have to create this suspense account. So that is all about the suspense account. So I'd like we look at the so that we can understand more about this topic. So I have an instruction here for the types of accounting errors and their correction. So we shall start with it. So in our instruction we are told it shows the journal entries required to correct the following errors. Entries narrative must be shown. So we are told commission received 44,000 had been credited to rent receivable account. Bank charges of 3,850 had been debited to rent account. Then completely omitted from the books of account is payment of sundry expense by check 1150. Then you have purchase of fixtures 23,700 had been entered in the purchase account. Return inwards of 41,650 had been entered in the debit side of the return outward account. Then you have a loan from ASMU shilling 25,000 had been entered in the credit side of the capital account. Then loan interest of 2,500 had been debited in the premises account. Goods taken for own use 1,250. Head worth of 1,250 had been debited to purchase account and credit to drawing account. So these are the solutions. So before we go to the solution, please take the screenshot as well as you can make some few notes on the questions. So this is our question. We need to answer these errors, and we are told to give narratives. So, or the narrations. So we start with number 1. We are told commissions received 44,000 had been credited to rent receivable account. So we have payment or revenue of commission. So it was credited to rent receivable account. So in order to correct this, we are going to debit, since it is increasing the revenue. So we are going to credit the commission since it is increasing the revenue, and then we debit the rent receivable account. So we are going to have debit rent receivable account. Then since it is increasing the revenue, commission received, so we are going to credit that. So we say correction of an error where commission received was credited to rent received. So with the same amount of money, 44,000. So we go to number 2. Number 2, we are told bank charges of 3,850 had been debited to rent account. So the charges they are being debited to the rent account. So what we are going to do here, we are going now to debit the expense. So we are going to debit the charges. So we debit the bank charges of 3,850, and then we credit the rent or the rent account which had been debited. So the bank charges of the expense we debit and then credit. So to correct the wrong debit of bank charges in the rent account. So that is the narration. Hope we are moving together. So any question, please write below on the comment. We go to number 3. Completely omitted from the books of account payment of sundry expense by check, 1,150. So here we have a complete omissions. So we are going to debit the expense or the sundry expense, and then we credit the check or the bank. So we are going to debit the sundry expense and then debit the bank. So here we shall say with the same amount of money, 1150, then we shall narrate to record omitted payment of sundry expense. Then we go to number 4. Number 4 is purchase of fixtures 23,700 had been entered in the purchase account. So we'd like to correct this. So the purchase, the fixtures had been entered in the purchase account instead of so instead of in the account, the fixtures account. So we are going to debit the fixtures and then credit the purchase account. So here with the same amount of 23,700 and 700. So we are going to debit the fixtures and then credit the purchase account. Then here is to correct the error of principle where purchase of fixed asset is treated as purchase. So that is the narration. We go to number 5. And remember we said that the error of principle it's when we enter a transaction in the wrong class of account but still observe the double entry. So we are putting the fixtures in the wrong account, in the wrong class of account of the purchase account. So that's why we are debiting and crediting the wrong account. Okay, so number 5, we are told that we have a return inward of shilling 41,650 had been entered in the debit side of the return outward account. So here we are going to correct the return inward had been entered in the debit side, so it is going to be credited where the return outwards should be debited. So return outwards we debit, where the return inwards we are going to credit of the same amount for 1,650. So here we are correcting the entry return inwards in the debit of return outward. So to correct entry return inwards in the debit of return outwards account. So let's continue. For number 6, we are told a loan from RSMU for 25,000 had been entered on the credit side of capital account. So we want to correct this. So the SMU loan had been entered on the side of capital account. So the loan, we are going to debit the capital account of 25,000, and then we credit now the SMU account with 25,000. So this is to correctly record loan received from SMU. So we are going to do that because it had been credited on the side of capital account instead of being debited. Okay, so we have that. Then we have number 7, loan interest of 2,500 had been debited in the premise account. So we have a loan interest here, so it is debited on the premise account. So we are going to debit the loan interest account of 2,500, and then we credit the premise account. So since it has been debited, so to correctly record interest on loan. Okay, then we have number 8, goods taken for own use. 1,250 had been debited to purchase account and credited to drawing accounts. So here it's what we introduced about the contra, because the goods are used for the use of the business. So goods taken for own use, these are good taken for own use. Yes, 1,250 had been debited to purchase account. So we are going to debit the drawing account. So we have the drawing account, which is 1,250, and then we credit the purchase account, which had been debited with the same amount. But remember, this we have two transactions taking place. So if you can check clearly here, there are two transactions taking place. So if this amount is debited instead of being credited on the same account, so if we take a single entry or a single credit entry, it will only just cancel the initial debit. So that's why we are multiplied by 2 here, because the second credit or the second debit entry will now enter the required credit entry. So instead of showing both two entries here, that's why we have multiplied by 2. So instead of showing them separately, the amount involved is doubled and the single entry made, but with the double values made. So we are going to multiply this by 2 to get 2,500. So, and also the same case scenario, the purchase account of 12,500 and 1250 we multiply by 2. So here we have corrected we have cancelled the initial debit, and also we have entered the correct entry of the credit. So that's why we are saying that if we take the goods for our own use, we have debited the purchase account and credited the drawing accounts. We are going to correct by we debit now the drawing and we credit the purchase account, but we have to multiply by 2 to cancel the first scenario, the initial debit, and correct the entries using the credit, or we enter the second credit entry. So that is all about the types accounting errors and their correction. Hope you have been taking some few notes or screenshotting. Okay, another thing that I wanted to check, it is about the suspense. You have this suspense account, so I'd like to take a question on it. So any question about the accounting error, please comment below. For suspense, we are told Martin is an accountant at Zabili Limited. During the year ended that June 2014, he prepared a trial balance which did not balance. He posted the difference in the suspense account. He then prepared the financial statement for the year ended June 30, 2014. The net profit of the company was 483. We shall use this one. So upon investigating, the foreign errors were later discovered. The total of the purchase day book had been undercast by 11,200,000. The total of the discount column on the debit side of the cash book amounting to 2,240,000 had been posted on the credit of discount received amount. Motor vehicles repair amounting to 8,512,000 had been posted on the motor vehicle account. Then a check of 4,368,000 received from Barnabas, Goody and Data had been debited in the cash book, but no other entry had been made. Then the return outwards had been overcast by 5,600,000. So we are told we repair the journal entries to correct the errors, suspend account, and also the statement of corrected net profit. Okay, before I go on, please take some screenshots on that. So let's continue. So we have the solution. We are going to start with the journal entries. So we can start with the first one. We are being told the total purchase day book had been undercast. So the purchase, there was an undercast of 11,200. So we debit that. Then on the credit, we put the suspense account of the same amount. So here the total purchase had been understated. So the error now has been corrected when you use the suspense account like that. So we credit the suspense, we debit the purchase. Number 2, we are told the total of the discount column on the debit side of the cash book amounting to 2,240,000 had been posted on the credit amount of discount received amount. So here we are having the discount received amount which has been credited. So we are going to debit the discount received as well as the discount allowed of each 1,240,000. Then we credit the suspend account. When we add both of these, we are going to get 4,480,000. So here the narration is discount allowed posted in discount received. Error now corrected. So we had the discount allowed had been posted on in the discount received. Okay, we can continue. So we have number 3. We are told motor vehicle repairs amounting to 8,512 had been posted on motor vehicle account. So here, the motor vehicles repairs were posted on the motor vehicle account. So we are going to debit the motor vehicle, the expense repairs, which were 8,512. Then we credit the motor vehicle account with the same amount. So here the motor vehicle repairs were posted on the motor vehicle account. So we have corrected them. So we debit the expense and then we credit the other account of motor vehicle. So then number 4, we have a check of 4,068 received from Barnabas Goody. A data had been debited in the cash book and there were no other entry. So since it has been debited in the cash book, we are going now to debit the suspense account, as well as credit now the Barnabas Goody account. Here we are saying that the receipt from data recorded in the ledger in error. So we have the error of omission now corrected. It was omitted since there were no any other entry. Okay, then we have the last one. Return outwards had been overcast by 5,600,000. So here we have we are going to debit the return outwards. So the return outward had been overcasted by 5,600,000. So the return outwards overcasted by 5,600. Then you have the credit suspense with the same amount. We credit with 5,600. So this one will correct the return outwards overcast. So it had been overcasted by 5,600 and that 600,000. So these are the entries that you are supposed to do, the journal entries. So you have now to create a suspense account of all these. So if you have taken some notes, let's create a suspense account. So the balance brought down, if you can check, not the balance brought down. Before we have to look at the accounts that we have put here. So we can start with the first. So we have the purchase for 11,200. Since we had debited purchases, so we are going to credit them for 11,200. Then we also have another suspense that need to be put in the suspense. The discount received. So we had a total of discount received and allowed. The total is 4,480, the suspense. So we credit that. Then we also have, we don't have a suspense there. We also have Barnabas. This one was recorded in there was an error of omission there. So we are not going to include it. And the credit side, this shall be on the debit. Then we also have the return outwards. So this one 5,600. So on the debit side, we are going to debit the Barnabas data. So of 4,368. When we add this, we are going to get 21,290. So the balance figure shall be 69,12. So that is the balancing figure, or the balancing brought down in our suspense account. So if you want to understand this, you look where the suspense accounts are. So the suspense account, all of them, you have to show them in the suspense account. That's why we are not showing the for motor vehicles. And then we were told to statement of corrected net profit. So that is the last thing that we are going to do. So we have to show the statement of corrected net profit. There are some figure that I told you that we are going to use. This one, the net profit for the company was 400 83,840. So that will be our net profit before any adjustment. So we have to include it there at the top. Then from there, we now have to indicate all these overcast, undercast, anything that we have changed in our account, in our suspense account. So we start with the we have to subtract the purchases which were undercast. They were for 11,200. We subtract that. Then we also have the discount allowed and received. So you can combine them or you put them separately, 2240, 2240. Then we also have the motor vehicles, the repairs, which has been posted in the motor vehicle account. So you also have to subtract those, the motor vehicle expenses. And the last thing we have to do, we also have to separate or subtract the return outwards. So you also have the return outwards for 5,600. So the 3 zeros will cater for the in terms of millions. So 483 subtract this, you get 454,048. So this is our corrected net profit. So if you have any question, please don't hesitate, like in the comment. I can also offer personalized teaching as well as answer your questions in the comments. Okay.